Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be painting Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night on a tiny canvas. Why am I painting on a tiny canvas? I saw it in Hobbycraft. It was about £2 and it was really cute, and that's about it. I'm painting Starry Night specifically because it's my favourite Vincent van Gogh painting, and I would really like to have something of his in the room, and I thought it would be a fun study to study a great master. Also, I'm wearing an apron because I will be using acrylic paint today. It's Royal Langnickel acrylic, and I also have this really weird acrylic in a squishy bag by Sennelier. But it was on sale and I needed more white paint, so I'm very messy, hence that's why the apron. So let's get into painting and see how it goes. So I started off with the sketch. I'd not painted on canvas in a very long time, so I couldn't actually remember whether you were supposed to sketch it in graphite or used a coloured pencil, because I remember when I was at university and we did drawing exercises and painting exercises, I was taught to use either a very light paint to paint out your sketch effectively, or a very light coloured pencil, but I just thought I'd do it. As it was so small, I didn't think it would notice. It would be that obvious, so I just did it in graphite because, well, it was easier. Plus, the painting, apart from the top bit, is fairly dark, so I didn't think my pencil would show through at all. That being said, it was actually really difficult to sketch on canvas because of the texture and the angle I was having to do it at to record it. It was really weird. I tried to erase at one point, but it just didn't work. It didn't erase, so I just had to sort of go over my sketch and hope it just worked out for the best. So I'm quite lucky, well, I guess not lucky, but I'm quite fortunate that the painting I chose actually lends itself to my own art style. I didn't realise when I was picking it, I just thought, what's one of my favourite pieces of art? Starry Night, great, I'll do that. And then when I was analysing the picture, when I was analysing the painting, where to actually start, I was like, oh, there's actually almost line art in a way around certain aspects of the drawing. Great, I do line art in my normal art, so this should be fairly easy. And it was great. The only difficult thing was working so small. I actually bought a brand new paintbrush specifically for this painting because I didn't want to get any of the lines wrong, because even though they're quite dark lines and you don't quite notice them at first, they are still quite important to the overall structure of the painting. So while it was easy in sort of practice, it was difficult in how tense I was, because with painting, obviously, if it goes down, it ain't coming up. It's not like oil paint where you can, if you just hate the oil painting, you can just wipe it away with turpentine. Acrylic paint is there to stay. When doing an artwork, you are supposed to start the opposite side from your dominant hand. So I'm right-handed, so I really should start top left and work my way right. The whole point is so that you don't accidentally smudge anything. I kind of just forgot about that, and I just thought I just want to start painting, and I wasn't really thinking about it. So I started in the foreground, or the bottom of the painting, which is the opposite from where I should have started. Thankfully it didn't matter because acrylic dries fairly quickly, and I was trying not to use very thick paint because I knew I'd have to do lots of layers because of the art style. So thankfully it wasn't actually a problem, but that could have been a real issue. I decided to start with this big structure in the centre, mainly because it was a different sort of colour than the rest of the drawing. It's a greeny, black, green sort of colour, whereas the rest of the drawing is very blue. So I thought if I get this one out the way, my palette will just be consisting of blues and it'll be much simpler. I don't know if anyone else thought this, but when I was younger and I first saw this painting, I always thought this big structure in the front was a tower, or something a magical tower, and it's literally only recently I realised it's kind of a big tree almost. But it's so weird. It's always looked like a tower to me. It still looks like a tower to me, and I'm looking at it right now. But I just think that's very interesting, sort of how you perceive things versus what they actually are supposed to be representative of. I suppose that's the benefit of expression. Abstract expressionism is you can sort of read into it how you want to. Yeah. The tower tree actually proved to be the most difficult thing for me, which was surprising because I thought it's one basic shape with not much like difference in it, but it was actually the most difficult, which is odd. I think it's mainly because it's such an odd colour. Like, you initially look at it and you think, oh, it's like black, but then you look closer and it's like, no, it's like brown and grey and green, and there's even elements of like yellow running through it. It's one of those things where you don't quite notice what it consists of until you have to like stare at it and then in my case recreate it. And it's just it's hard to think of like the thought process, because when I try to do abstract expressionism that's like my own style, as in I'm not, you know, remaking another artwork, I'm like, it doesn't quite work for me. I'm like, okay, where's the light? Where would this be? Where would that be? What colour is this thing? Whereas with abstract expressionism, it's almost like taking the rules of painting and kind of bending them to how you really want them to work. So I suppose it's quite freeing. I might try and do my own abstract painting, like on little canvas as well. I think that'll be quite fun. I just wouldn't know what to do it in. The rest of the painting was actually really easy to do in a sense. There was lots of going over and redoing areas or adding more, because I like sort of, okay, this section is blue, so I'd do it in blue, and then I'd be like, wait a second, like parts of it are actually grey, or like this part's actually more brown or red, and it was quite weird. It's almost like a how I think it is versus how it actually is kind of scenario, but it was still so much fun, and it was quite relaxing to paint as well, even though I had to concentrate quite hard, but not having to come up with the idea myself for painting was quite nice. I really want to do this again. I just don't know what other ones to redo. I might do another Van Gogh, or I'm not sure. I think the main problem I had overall with this painting was not using the same size canvas that Van Gogh used. So I kind of had to squish everything in and try and get all the elements of the painting in. So it's not a one-for-one recreation. Like, I think the moon and stuff is slightly too far in, whereas it should be further out, but I really just wanted it all to be encompassed in this one little canvas. I think at this point I really started to panic, because I was really happy with the way the town had come out. Like, I thought it was looking really good, and then the sky kind of scared me, because, you know, it's called The Starry Night. It's the whole drawing, the whole painting is really about the sky, not necessarily the town. So suddenly having to tackle the sky, I was very scared. So I just sort of did it in sort of blocks. I sort of blocked up each section of colour, and then I'd like went in with like one section of like the little colours, and then another section with the brighter colours, and then another section with the darker colours, and I just kind of kept building until I was happy with where it was. But if it wasn't a daunting task, and I think I took a break at one point, about 10 minutes, because I was just like so stressed and worried that it wouldn't come out the way I looked. I actually left the room, and it was the first time I'd actually stepped away from the painting while recording, and so when I came back and I saw this canvas, it's really small, so suddenly seeing it from a distance, I was like, ooh, okay. Alright, this is looking good, yeah. What am I worrying about? I've done really well with the town, just keep going. And that like sudden step away and then being able to like reevaluate it, I was like, right, this is good. This is gonna be good. Come on, Jocelyn, don't get scared. Just paint. Paint and enjoy. And that's what I did. And I think the outcome was really good. So, here's the final piece. I am so incredibly proud of myself, and I don't say that very often. I absolutely love it. It's got all the elements of Starry Night in it while being tiny. Like, I know the moon should technically be further over, like, in the painting, but because I had to shave the sides down because it's a square canvas, I just sort of budged the moon in a little bit because I really wanted it to be in. But, like, it's so good. I'm so excited. I'm so happy with it. I left the room partway through to go get a drink, and when I came back, I could just see it from, like, a distance, and I was like, holy Christ, that's actually really good. And I'm really glad I chose Van Gogh as well, because he did abstract expressionism. It doesn't need as many details. It doesn't need to be as precise as, say, realism or something like that. So any slight little mistakes I made that aren't quite like the original, you can't really tell because of the style. So I may do another one, to be honest, or Frida Kahlo's another one I was thinking of, but her paintings are quite, like, facial, and I'm a bit nervous about doing that on a little canvas. But if you've got any ideas for any, like, great works of art or whatever you'd like me to do, please let me know, because I would really like to do this again. So, as I always say, if you like this video, please give it a like. If you really liked it, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!